Hello and welcome back. Today we'll be going over another one of my random 60 card casual builds. This one being my random little elf deck kind of thing. So it's just random little fun with, a couple of elf kind of concepts here. I don't really know much else to sit there and say about it, other than just kind of getting right into it. Start us off, we have Raise the Redeemed, so 1/1. You can pay 2 and either white or green, which for the sake of this, we're just going to be saying green because most it's just kind of built as a mono green deck. So yeah, 2 and a green essentially there. Tap it, create a 1/1 green and white elf warrior creature token. Or pay 4 and 2 green and or white. Tap for each creature token you control, create a token that's a copy of that creature. So, essentially just kind of doubling up on your creatures there. And have a nice little play set of those, but unless one of these mirror boxes are on the field, which we'll get to that, it's not going to end up, not going to be able to have more than one on the field. But next up, we have Realm Seeker. 0/0. Realm Seeker enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the total number of cards in all players' hands. Then you can pay 2 and a green. Remove a +1/+1 counter from Realm Seeker. Search your library for a land, reveal it, and put in your hand, and shuffle. So, Ryan, play set of those. All 4. Next up, we have 4 copies of Evolution Sage. It is a 3/2. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, proliferate. Next up, we have Chihira, Friend of the Forest. It's a 2/3. Tokens you control get tap, add 1 green. And we'll choose a background, but that's not technically relevant in this deck. 2 copies of that in the deck. Next up, we have 2 copies of Marwyn, the Nurturer. Whenever another elf enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Marwyn, the Nurturer. And tap, add an amount of green mana equal to Marwyn's power. After that, we have 2 copies of Immaculate Magistrate. Sorry, things aren't really going in focus here. Alright. So 2/2 with tap, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature for each elf you control. So nice 2 copies in here of that. Then we have a couple of single cards here. Start off with Wolfbriar Elemental. It's a 4/4 multi-kicker of green. And when Wolfbriar Elemental enters the battlefield, put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield for each time it was kicked. So, little manipulation there of, extra green mana. Then we have Well-Wisher, which is a 1/1. You can tap it to gain 1 life for each elf on the battlefield. And then a little extra fun here with Ashiad, Soul of the Wild, my bad. Ashiad, Soul of the Wild's power and toughness reach equal to the number of lands you control. Non-token creatures you control are forest lands in addition to their other types. Okay, that finishing up the creatures. Now we move on to spells, and we actually have a play set, or 4 copies of Leyline of Abundance, which, if Leyline of Abundance is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. Whenever you tap a creature for mana, add an additional green mana, and pay 6 and 2 green, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So yeah, 4 of those in there. Increased chance of having one in the opening hand, and hopefully just kind of being able to start off the game with one of those out there. Next up, we have 3 copies of Fairlease Land Wars Fury. +2, create a 1/1 green elf creature token with tap, add a green mana. -2, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Or -6, draw a card for each green creature you control. And yeah, the last part's not relevant because we're not playing Commander with this. After that, we have 2 Genesis Waves. Which Genesis Wave is, reveal the top card of your library. You may put any number of permanent cards with mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield, then put all cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield into your graveyard. After that, we have 2 copies of Plane-Wide Celebration. Choose 4. You may choose the same mode more than once. Create a 2/2 citizen creature token that's all colors. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Proliferate or gain 4 health. Or life, whatever. After that, we have 2 copies of Mirror Box. The legendary rule does not apply to permanents you control. Each legendary creature you control gets +1/+1. Each non-token creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with the same name as that creature. Then we have our Planeswalker. I probably should have. Oh wait, no, these are all single copy Planeswalkers. We have a couple of Vivians here. Vivian, Champion of the Wilds. You may cast creature spells as though they had flash. Come on, dang it, focus in here. Because I can't read the card. There we go, light. Alright. +1 until your next turn. Up to 1 target creature gains Vigilance and Reach. Or -2, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Exile 1 face down and put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. For as long as it remains exiled, you may look at the card and you may cast it if it's a creature card. And then we have Vivian Reed. +1, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. -3, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. And then -8, you get an emblem with creatures you control get +2/+2, have vigilance, trample, and indestructible. After that, we have ourselves a few Nissas here. Starting off at the top here, we have Nissa, who shakes the world. Whenever you tap a forest for mana, add an additional green mana. +1, put 3 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target non-creature land you control. Untap it, it becomes a 0/0 elemental with vigilance and haste. It's still a land. And -8, you get an emblem with lands you control have indestructible. Search your library for any number of forest cards and put them onto the battlefield. Tapped, then shuffle your library. Then we have Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, which has a +1, put a 0/1 green plant creature token onto the battlefield. -2, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. And -7, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of lands you control. Next we have Nissa, Genesis Mage. +2, untap target creature and up to 2 target lands. -3, target creature gets +5/+5 until end of turn. And lastly, -10, look at the top 10 cards of your library. You may put any number of creature and or land cards from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And then lastly here, we have Nissa, Nature's Artisan. +3, you gain 3 life. -4, reveal the top 2 cards of your library. Put all land cards from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest into your hand. And -12, creatures you control get +5/+5 and gain trample until end of turn. It's just a little random fun there. As you can probably tell from the little span down here, we essentially just have 19 forests, and our non-basic is just ourselves at Karn's Bastion, which we tap for colorless, or you can pay for and tap it to proliferate. Hope you all enjoyed a little look into another one of my random decks here. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next video. Peace.